Hi guys, welcome to Origins. So, it's been a pretty productive week. Now, I don't know whether that's to do with the new format of splitting it into two channels, one for lighthearted fun stuff, this one, and one for more serious stuff, which I am working on content for. It's taking a while. But I'm not going to let that falter now. I'm going to make a video response to The Breakfast Club. I haven't seen the film. I want to, and I will get round to it. For now, I'm just talking about a collab channel on YouTube, helmed by Got That Funk, whose own, I guess, personal channel I would also highly recommend subscribing to. I must have said that in the past, because he is awesome. And he's asked the question, do you want to have kids? Why or why not? Now, obviously, people in the channel are going to answer these questions, but I want to answer them as well. So, my answer is maybe. But I guess, well, here are the reasons behind all of this. First of all, I'm 26 and a half, just to be pedantic. I was in the Scouts since I was old enough to join. I stayed throughout until about 2 years ago, when I left. I was in a leadership role for nearly 10 years. I was in fact, in theory at least, in charge of my section for the last few months. In practice, slightly more complicated story. Part of the reason I left, I won't lie. But for all these reasons, I think I wouldn't be too bad as a parent. The problem is, to me, not bad isn't good enough. This is something I would take very seriously. I recognize the responsibility associated with this role. I wouldn't want to do it half-assed. I want some stronger foundations to be in place than, I guess, what you currently see here. Now, this is luxury compared to what a lot of people had, and to what, go back maybe 20, 30 years at most, and it's luxury, well, maybe a bit longer, but, and it's luxury compared to literally everyone before that point. So people have obviously had kids in more challenging circumstances than this, but, this is Scotland, the UK, 2016. I would want things to be slightly better than this, at least, before I had a kid. I guess I should take a moment just to say there is no judgment applied to anyone else for their parenting styles, their decisions, when to have kids, what circumstances to have kids in. No judgment whatsoever. This is just what I expect of myself. This is just the criteria I have to meet for myself before I'm prepared to do it. And what I need is more time to do the things that I want to do in life, to try and, I guess, well, I mentioned in, I mentioned a couple of videos ago that I wanted to see if I could make something off the time I spend on the internet, the various projects I do, Origin being a part of that. If something did work out, then I'd see how I could maybe work a kid into that closer to the time. If not, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, I simply, other things take priority over this. There are a few other things. Of course, there's the finding a partner issue. My luck in that particular arena has been, let's say, sketchy. And not just another member of the Breakfast Club. Basically, I've had multiple failed dates, and the closest thing I've had that comes to a relationship is basically this kind of sort of long distance thing that fizzled out. But yeah, not a lot of history to go on there. That is an area which, as they say, needs work. So there's that as well. And I guess, well, I guess when it comes to kids, you can be in a spectrum from just essentially winging it, just you just have a kid and you just work it out as you go along, to people who are very serious, and then I guess you could either consider it part of the spectrum or something else entirely. There's the whole concept of antinatalism, which was discussed on YouTube a few years ago. Basically, the idea that it's morally wrong to have kids. There's various different arguments for that. I guess there's the environmental footprint. There's I guess how it might contribute to overpopulation, although Malthus has yet to be proven right. But the other one, the one that seems to come up quite a lot, which I find, let's say, interesting, is the idea that, well, since kids can't technically consent to being conceived, for that reason you shouldn't do it. I'm not an antinatalist. I said this, of course, closer to the time. If people want to have kids, and as I said, there is no judgment associated whatsoever. I would encourage people, of course, to treat it with the responsibility that it needs. Try to give your kid the best chance, kid or kids. I would probably just have one as well. That's another thing worth mentioning. But in terms of what I could personally do, what I personally want, I need more time. I need better foundations, and just more time to think about how I would actually parent in practice. And of course, parenting takes two, so my style would need to be compatible with my partner's. All of these are things to consider, and it's quite a lot to consider, and it's stuff that I wouldn't be able to ignore this stuff. I wouldn't be able to not think about it and just wing it. That's just the kind of person I am. And so for those and many other reasons, there are just too many other different things on my mind right now. I'm not interested in it at the moment. Maybe in the future, not now. I guess I would bounce Paul's question back into my own audience. What do you think of the idea of having kids? Where do you stand? Would you do it? Why or why not? Thank you for watching. Goodbye.